Let's go straight to Rotus. Rotus, a lot to talk about in business.
Good morning, Rufai. Good morning, Fimbai. And Adefemi, and of course, all our viewers out there. Start with in Sintra, Portugal, where the European Central Bank, its annual gathering where central bank governors from around the world meet up, particularly Kazuo Ueda of Japan, Andrew Bailey of the UK, Jerome Powell of the US. And Powell here, quick clip, basically coming out and saying, hey, listen, it is because of the tariffs in the US that we did not actually move forward with cutting interest rates.
And have cut more by now if it weren't for the tariffs?
So I think that's right. In effect, we went on hold when we saw the size of the tariffs and essentially all inflation forecasts for the United States went up materially as a consequence of the tariffs. So we didn't overreact. In fact, we didn't react at all. We're simply taking some time. As long as the U.S. economy is in solid shape, we think the prudent thing to do is to wait and learn more and see what those effects might be.
To Trump, I mean, we already saw his Truth Social post saying that Doge is going to investigate, could investigate Elon Musk, because Elon Musk, the big beautiful bill has passed the Senate. It's going back to the House. Musk was, blasting it, and Trump then came out and said, he was actually asked by a reporter, and he reiterated those points, saying Doge is the monster that could actually eat Elon Musk because he's angry about the electric vehicle subsidies being removed.
Might have to put Doge on Elon. You know what Doge is? Doge is the monster that might have to go back and eat Elon. Wouldn't that be terrible? He gets a lot of subsidies, Peter. But Elon's very upset that the EV mandate is going to be terminated. And you know what? When you look at it, not everybody wants an electric car. I don't want an electric car. I want to have maybe gasoline, maybe electric, maybe a hybrid, maybe someday a hydrogen.
All right, so there's a video that's come up, though, from 2022, where Elon Musk said he doesn't need subsidies, that if you remove subsidies, Tesla actually has a stronger position. And, I mean, Trump has tried to frame this as him being angry about the subsidies, but, I mean, Musk continues to say that it is about the blow-up in debt. So, anyway, it's been floating around on social media. So, here, this is from, I think, July of 2022, where he was speaking with some Tesla owners in California, where he said, we don't need them.
EV incentives tomorrow, Tesla's competitive position would improve significantly. I'll say that again. If you eliminated all tax credits, EV tax credits, Tesla's position would improve immediately.
All right, let's get to Nigeria now. While you all were having a very animated discussion on the whole St. Lucia thing, which, as far as giving scholarships to students and so on. Vimbai brought up power, right? Brought up electricity, and I was like, okay, great. This gives me, because I told you all we're going to talk about, Pastor E.G. Cross in Zimbabwe. But before then, let's just remind everyone what you said about power. You're talking about tertiary institutions, and you brought up the power situation. So here's Vimbai from yesterday.
One of the biggest issues bedeviling the tertiary education system at the moment is the issue of power. The increase in power tariffs mean that most of our universities at the moment are struggling to keep the lights on. Students are studying by candlelight. The conditions are just not conducive.
Perfect. Yeah, just in case. Yeah. So while we were in Abuja for the Afro-Exim Bank, we'll get the clues. So while we're in Abuja, the Afro-Exim Bank signed a deal with 3 companies. One of them was Intensive Energy Users Group of Zimbabwe. The other was Proton Power of Nigeria, and then Ados Pharmaceuticals of Kenya. And this is E.G. Cross. He's the chair. And look, I call him Power Pastor E.G. Cross because he ministered to me. We fellowshipped about the gospel of free market capitalism and how it improves the power situation. And I was just thinking about Vimbai the entire time I was talking to him. So essentially what we're about to play you here is, after he talked about the deal, he talked about the power situation facing Zimbabwe and also Nigeria. So take a listen.
Right. Like many African states, our power generation capacity and our transmission systems were developed during the colonial era. And of course now it's 50 years later. And those plants are old, they're running out of steam, government doesn't have the money to replace them. So what we are doing, we're bringing private sector energy, private sector financing to this sector. The government on its part has liberalized our market. So we're able to function. In South Africa, for example, where load shedding was a very serious problem, as soon as they liberalized their market 2 years ago, the private sector stepped in. Now load shedding is almost a thing of the past. So we can move fast, faster than government, and we have the capacity and the initiative to do so.
You're here in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. I'm sure you are aware of the power issues Nigeria is facing. Nigeria has also, to some extent, liberalized. There's still some talk about, removing the remaining subsidies that are still there. What does Nigeria need to do? Does it follow the same path as Zimbabwe? What's your view on how Nigeria can improve our power supply?
I've been shocked. Every time I've been here, I've heard generators running continuously. That indicates you've got a problem. I would say the government of Nigeria needs to start talking to the private sector. It needs to liberalize its market. Allow the private sector free to respond to it, this need. Because they need the power, let them pay for it. And the government doesn't need to be involved at all. It can be done by the private sector. It can be done more efficiently. And I think that that's where the future lies.
Okay. So off camera, right, he actually, and I did this calculation, this is the reason why I wish he had said it on camera. Zimbabwe has the highest tariffs, or close to the highest, in the Southern African region. The only other country that comes close probably is Namibia. And you heard him mention, nobody talks about load shedding in South Africa anymore because they liberalized the sector. And when he mentioned Nigeria, he said that he was talking about the generators there. We still have not completely, fully liberalized our energy tariffs here. And in order to bring in more investment, that liberalization process has to take place. And I was doing the calculation. I wish I had finished it on time, but maybe tomorrow or the day after. I had to convert, because the ZiG is the currency that Zimbabwe uses, right? Per kilowatt hour charges in ZiG to US dollar, and then per kilowatt hour charges in Naira to US dollar. And they have a tiered system, just like Nigeria, the whole Band A thing. Their base entry level is arguably higher than Nigeria's Band A. So the point I'm trying to make is that...
Don't they have lights?
Exactly. So the point is that this process of bringing 24/7 power to a region is about the infrastructure and the cost of the infrastructure. And you heard him there say that the Zimbabwean government cannot afford to do it, just like the Nigerian government. The estimates to completely overhaul Nigeria's power sector rivals the cost of our entire budget in dollar terms. So the point here is that it's a drawn out system that is going to take time, and more investment is needed. And Zimbabwe and Nigeria have the similar issues.
Let me talk about Trump before I debunk some of your arguments.
Oh, Trump. Okay.
I am happy that this fight is happening. And on this fight, I'm supporting Trump.
Yeah.
But it's not that Elon Musk is not making sense. Elon Musk is making a lot of sense, because with that big, beautiful bill passed yesterday, a lot of more people have been drawn into poverty. And he's going to suffer it in the midterms. And I think it was a ridiculous bill.
Yeah.
On that score, Elon Musk is right. But why I'm supporting Trump is just because I hate the fact that a billionaire thinks he can come and upset the American electoral system, and because he put $300 million down.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm supporting Trump on this. So that's just it. I might be rational, I might be stupid, I might be logical, but that's me. On this, I'm with Trump. But Elon Musk is correct. And Trump was also lying by trying to say that it's because of the subsidy that is paying, what's it called? Apart from this video you played, in fact, he said it in 2 or 3 other interviews that I've watched. That is not about it, that even if you pull out subsidies, he doesn't care, and all of that. That apart. The argument you are making, some of the parameters you put forward is wrong. At top level, I have a friend, I don't want to mention his name, that owns a power plant in this country, a major power plant, and we talked off camera. What it comes down to, their cost of production, what you charge Band A is more than it. Yes, so I mean, he told me that, but I don't want to mention his name.
Band A is higher than what he charges?
That what it comes out to the cost of production when you mill it out, when you mill out the power. Yes, he told me that in confidence, because I asked him. Secondly, nobody is saying, another assumption that you put forward that is wrong is, Rotus, you can't turn around power systems in one budget cycle. It's a systemic thing. The government could have made investments. See, today, the question I think you should be asking is, where's the Siemens deal? The Siemens deal was layered over many years. And that's why one of the things I say, President Buhari's government is a failure. That's why when they are saying he's broke today and he's this, he had his integrity in time. I'm like, Sakaba should stop telling us all of that. This government was a failure. That Siemens deal, it was layered across many years. It was to build backbone infrastructure and distribution capacity for about 20,000 megawatts. If that had come into place, with what the power stations are loading today, if they load it on that, at least you can have a distribution. One of the biggest problems now is that even what they are producing on the power station, the systems, architecture, the SCADAs of this world cannot take it and distribute effectively.
Right. Well,
so you need...
The Siemens deal was money. Nigeria couldn't
come up with the money. No, so you need infrastructure development. Nigeria couldn't come up with the money. But all the money they were printing in ways that if people had financial intelligence and there was no corruption, that Siemens deal will have happened now. People frittered money away in ways that people stole money under Buhari now. What are we saying?
Right.
So the fact that Nigeria doesn't have money, was Egypt that have money? But people were sense, people stole money and people benefited from the money they stole under Buhari. And we had a lot of ways that Mr. Shenanigan. It's just like the system of corruption. All the beds that they bought during COVID, all the ventilators, go and ask them, where are those ventilators today?
Right.
I assure you, if they bring out 40%, I will do rank a day for them. So let's stop deceiving ourselves. So that's why, is in Nigeria case is peculiar. I understand the tenets of free market capitalism, but free market capitalism in a corrupt Dangbana society. Are you kidding me?
Again, the money is a lot. The money is for breakfast. The money is a lot. The money is a lot.
I always hesitate before taking advice from a white Zimbabwean.
Oh gosh. Oh my goodness. She had to go there.
I do always take a deep breath before I follow. I won't call him a Rhodesian, but so here's what it is, right? Is that it goes back to, I always like to take things back to the theory of it. With the free market, economy and so forth, wonderful on paper. But the question is, with these tariffs, with all this power revolution, with the private investment that has come in, and these, it's crippling. You have to ask yourself, what is the productivity of Zimbabwean industry? Productivity is low, because how many people, how many manufacturers can afford it? Households. So initially they'd said that the industry...
Okay, well, yes, Siemens deal is still on. It's still on. So we are waiting for what it will become of the deal.
So we...
They delivered the first set of mega transformers.
Okay.
So we're waiting
So
for
that's on the Siemens deal. So just quickly on Zimbabwe to summarize. So we ask ourselves, is manufacturing able has it been able to go back to the pre-land reform era? Because Zimbabwe used to be the breadbasket of the region.
That's right.
We're not back there yet. I come from a family that's in the farming, in the agricultural industry. For us to run our combined harvesters, for us to run our tobacco processing, everything runs on electricity. Irrigation systems runs on electricity. It is crippling to the point that most farmers either have to get foreign partners or get bank loans. So it's tough. So I think in theory, it's wonderful to say that, okay, let's just get the tariffs off. It works. But it's black people, who are the majority of our population, are unable to make a profit and unable to make economic breakthroughs because of all these free market economics that the Rhodesians will be preaching to us. So that's on that. And it's a similar case in Nigeria where we're saying, well, these things will stifle the common man. It's the same argument. Very quickly, big, beautiful bill. Elon Musk and subsidies. Seems Nigeria is not the only place where subsidy is controversial.
That's exactly what I wanted to mention. I know we are fast running out of time, but another thing I wanted to mention about Elon Musk, I don't know if you saw it was on another network, and they were testing these Tesla taxis or something like that.
Right, the one that drove to the person's place.
Correct, and they did a test where they went through schools and simulated children running through and see if these taxis could stop in time. They couldn't, they run over the children. So perhaps that's something for Elon Musk to focus on.
Safety regulation, indeed.
Well, thank you, Rotus.
Thank you.